I've got to get away, start again, find a brand new day. So much for me to find, but I've got to go outside. I've got to go outside. I've got to go outside.
Hello van fans, welcome to VFFs, a Vanlife Podcast. My name is Kat, I'm sat in my camper van right now and I'm delighted to welcome you to this very first episode. I'm recording the whole of this podcast in my van, by the way, which means that there are going to be noises from outside, so that's an added bonus for you guys. So let me tell you a little bit about myself and about this podcast. I'm from Devon in the UK. I graduated in the School of Travel, having travelled solo for much of my 20s and 30s to many different countries. I would consider myself an experienced traveller. Some of the standout moments for me would be travelling overland on the Greyhound from New York to Alaska and working with sled dogs, doing karaoke in Tokyo and working on a fruit farm under Mount Fuji in Japan, flying in a dodgy plane over Mount Everest, and spending my birthday at the Taj Mahal in India. Nice memories, and I'm hoping to make a lot more as the years go by. I've spent the last 2 winters abroad in the Canary Islands, volunteering at a hostel and busking, and this January and February I flew to Marrakesh in Morocco, then up to the south of Spain. And while I was there, actually I ate my body weight in Italian food, and I accidentally joined a spiritual mountain cult, but that's for another time. As for work, I've been a full-time street musician for 10 years, which really works for my lifestyle, and it's given me a lot of freedom to explore new places. So that's my story. Now to vans, that's what we all want to talk about, right? So I got my first van 5 years ago, which was a Suzuki Carry, called it Debbie. And my boyfriend is a carpenter and he turned her into a beautiful micro camper. It was gorgeous. She had so much storage and she had like a pull-out bed. I absolutely loved her. Unfortunately, I didn't get to use her as much as I wanted to. You know, life just sometimes doesn't go to plan. I also found that I couldn't spend a massive amount of time in her because of the small size. It was really good for a couple of days, but you know, a few hours in that thing and you kind of felt like you were in a coffin. So during the pandemic, I was looking on eBay and I fell in love with this big old camper van. It's a 1993 Renault Traffic. It's a high top camper, and on the spur of the moment, I just decided to sell Debbie and to buy this other camper. I didn't even see it first. I just said, yeah, I'll take it. So after buying my new van, I decided to join some online van life groups. I'd never really used social media before, and I was amazed to suddenly have access to all these people that shared my love of travel and vans. I wanted so much to talk to these awesome people and to hear about their life stories. I also thought to myself, maybe if I had an excuse to interview and connect with other van dwellers, it would help me with my own anxieties around travelling alone in a van, and it would force me out of my comfort zone and to do something that scares me. Even with all my experience travelling, I still do get really scared about travelling alone in my camper van at night. It's just really easy to get freaked out when you're on your own in the middle of nowhere and it's dark and your imagination kind of runs wild. So I noticed that a lot of other women had posted online about having similar anxious feelings about starting van life. So I wanted to do something that would prove to those people and to myself that if we face our fears and challenge ourselves, we can achieve whatever we want to do, and it's not as scary as we thought it would be. So the pandemic has meant that for now I'm chatting to people mostly on the phone, but in the future I'll be visiting people all over the UK to interview them in my van and to get to know how van life has been for them personally. I've also included a little bonus feature for you guys at the end of this podcast. Don't get too excited. It's literally just me walking around on Dartmoor in the dark being scared. But it's a mini challenge that I set myself to do something that scares me. I also run out of diesel the next day, which is quite inconvenient. I mean, I wanted to start small with these challenges and kind of build up to more challenging situations basically, but I thought I'd start small. So my first ever interview was with Jo. Her and her husband Mick had plans to sell their house in about 5 years and to buy a large motorhome. The coronavirus situation gave them a big wake-up call and they just decided to seize the day and just go for it. So they sold their house in 2 days after putting it on the market and they bought a motorhome to live in. It was just at the beginning of Jo and Mick's journey when I spoke to her, so it was really great to hear her excitement and all her plans. This was the first interview I've ever done and I get myself in such a state before the call. I'm actually going to leave the audio in of me having anxiety about this because I want people to hear how difficult it is to live on a daily basis when your mind just goes round and round in circles. Anyway, I'll let her tell you her story. She was such a pleasure to talk to, so without further ado, here is the interview with Jo. Right then, so I'm 10 minutes away from my first interview. I wasn't feeling nervous at all and now I'm just like, oh my god, I'm going to talk to a stranger. Oh, I'm really hoping she's going to call me because I'm just sat here like, just waiting. I hope I didn't say I would call her. This is tense. It's 6 minutes past 10 now. Oh my god. I'm going to try and calm down a bit. I might play my mantras and just calm down and I'm going to send her a text message is what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm just going to send... Oh my god, I can't. I'm scared. Send. Oh, I can't do it. Do it for the podcast. Okay, I've sent it. Cool. Okay, great. Fantastic. Well done. I've achieved something. I've sent a text. She's calling. Hello. Hello, hi, yes, it's Kat. I just call myself something weird on the internet.
I call myself Jo.
Oh, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, nice to speak to you as well.
So, you've literally just moved in, haven't you?
Yeah.
To your van?
Yeah, we've had it a week.
And what make van is it? Is it like a motorhome, like a large motorhome?
Yeah, it's an Auto Trail Scout motorhome.
How has it been in your first week? Are you kind of in shock still, or are you kind of settling in?
It feels lovely. We're still like settling in. It feels lovely. There's a few things that have popped up wrong, but because it's like it's not brand new. We've bought it second hand, so there's like a few things that have. We're taking it back actually today to get the skylight redone because that were leaking. The taps have been leaking a bit, so we're just sort of like getting used to it, getting to know the van, which I feel like I know it a lot better now than what I did a week ago when I got it. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just feels just still settling in, really. We're still floating about. We haven't actually left our hometown, but we will be doing.
Where did you say you are?
Leeds. We're on a site at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And
where we are, it's all right because it's like right in the middle. Well, not right in the middle of Leeds, but it's like on outskirts. So we're just able to walk up to a local pub. So they're coming on this site again. Where are you?
I'm in Plymouth, in Devon.
Oh, Plymouth. Oh, God, yeah, you're right. We've been down there, though, in our old camper van. We've been down your way. I think this is from Devon, this van. Nick, was this van from Devon? Yeah, he thinks so. It's got a partition thing that pulls across, which is brilliant because I can take the grandkids and they can have their own room. So I've shut him off in back room.
Oh,
so he couldn't really hear me. But yeah, it is.
That's a nice coincidence.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's quite nice that you can like partition off the van. Yeah. I think that makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Well, that was one of the things that sold it to me. I thought, yeah, that's just perfect. 'Cause we've got grandchildren that we want to take away all the time. We've already taken them away in it. We've only had it a week and they're coming tomorrow in it and all. Especially we've got one that's only 2 years old, so he can go in the bit that turns into a bed and we can shut him off just like a little bedroom. Yeah.
Oh, I bet they love it, don't they?
Oh yeah, they do. Oh, they love coming in. So they're nattering about all the time because they used to come in our old one, which was a lot smaller. You know, we've took them all over, but I want to take them further in this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to take them up to Scotland.
So they must have some lovely. They're going to have some lovely memories, aren't they?
Yes.
What do they call you? Do they? Is it grandma or nanny?
Funny enough, no. What they call me is Gan. So like Nan, but with a G, Gan.
Oh, that's nice.
I was supposed to be Granny, but my granddaughter couldn't say Granny. It come out as Gan, and it just stuck, so that's what I'm called.
Oh, brilliant. And what about, did you say Mick is your husband?
Yeah, Mick's my husband, yeah. They just call him Grandad.
That's lovely. So they've got Gan and Grandad's van that they go out in and have little adventures in. And
yeah, the van's called Big Reg, by the way.
Big Reg, oh, I love it.
That's his name, yeah. Because, well, my dad was, he's passed away now, but my dad was called Reg, and our other camper was smaller, and we got it and we named it after his mum, Annie. Mm-hmm. So this one's been so big straight away, I was like, this van's male, not female, it's too big. And, you know, I asked my kids, what do you reckon we should call him? And two of them said Reggie. So perfect. So that's what he's called. And he's got 2 stickers along the front saying Big Reg on the window screen.
Yeah, it's like a tribute.
Yeah, well, that's what like this is. You know, all my family are happy about it. You know, they were like obviously upset, thinking that we're leaving them, which we would never do. I couldn't leave my grandkids, so.
Yeah.
but yeah, they really liked the name and all. You know, that it was their granddad. So, and I know wherever he is, if he's looking down, which I'm sure he is, he'll be absolutely made up that we've called it what we've called it.
What about your last motorhome? What did you have before then?
It was an avant-garde, a Peugeot avant-garde. It was like half the size of what this is. If you chop the back off, it looked like this.
Cool. Was that your first one, or?
Yeah, that was our first one. We started off years ago. With a static caravan. We had a static caravan for years with that when our kids were little. Then we sold up, got a tent and started travelling instead. And then when the kids didn't want to come in the tent anymore, we then upgraded to a Tourer and went in a caravan because they weren't bothered for going. They were teenagers then and weren't bothered. So we did that for years. He always wanted to get a camper. I didn't. All the time. I'm like, no, don't want one. And then I think it was about 5 years ago, I decided to give him. I said, "Go on, then we'll get one." So we sold that and bought that little motorhome, and we just haven't looked back since. Absolutely, best thing we've ever done.
So this has been in your blood for years. You've been travelling around quite a lot. Yeah,
and we used to travelling around. We used to having to live in a small space, you know. But we are used to having a home to go back to. Now we haven't. You know, we had our home for 27 years. That house.
Yeah, tell me about that then. So what happened? So lockdown happened. And...
Yeah, lockdown. Well, we were going to do it in 5 years, right? All the time we bought it. And we were like, we're paying this off, we're buying this off the council, we're buying it. This is our nest egg. So that's what it was always about. Not for us to keep it forever and die and leave it to our... It was for us to... For the nest egg to do when we retire. To sell up, and I was going to buy a static caravan somewhere. That's what I intended to do. And then when we got the camper, we just got round to talking about, you know, we could just sell up, buy a bigger camper and go travelling around. And my husband, he's a taxi driver, and he's always been saying, right, you know, when I get to 60, that's it. I've had enough and I want to go travel. We'll buy a van. We'll sell the house. And we just ended up getting around to this. That's what we're going to do. We want to sell the house and just go travelling. So then lockdown happened. Did up the old house and the garden as you did, everybody did, because they were just stuck in with nothing to do. Yeah. So my garden and my house and all the fences in the garden, it all looked the best it had ever done. So we were like, you know, we might as well sell. Our other daughter moved out. We only had our son left. And he was 27. We're like, go on, it's time for you to go. What do we need this big house for? It's all been done out immaculate. Also, COVID made you think, you just don't know what's around the corner. You don't know how long you got left. We need to live life now while we can, sort of thing. So that
Totally.
sort of then pushed it. And then what pushed it even more was the house prices rocketed. I mean, they were selling like hotcakes. We were like, right, let's do it. And we did it. And it sold within a day and a half.